because that Justin he's gonna fight with me, but Paddy, if Paddy wins, he's gonna try to avoid me and trying not to fight me because he's not man like.
All right, so they're touching gloves. In my mind is going absolutely wild because Gaethje isn't stepping forward like some nervous challenger. This dude is moving like death itself, just walked into the octagon. Those low kicks are coming out like he's laying down invisible landmines. And when that looping right connects perfectly, Justin wobbles and I'm telling you, my heart just stops beating because this cannot be happening. This quick. Not before anyone even settles in, and that's exactly when things get completely insane. Paddy starts landing these right hands over and over, digging shots to the body. His confidence just exploding through the roof, and then Justin unleashes this massive overhand that changes everything. Now we're not watching technique anymore. This turned into pure violence about who's gonna crack first. I'm sitting here thinking someone definitely got this whole thing wrong. And if you thought that was just lucky timing, wait until I tell you what supposedly went down between rounds. This gets crazy. The knee lands clean, the uppercut explodes like dynamite. Paddy crashes down hard, scrambles like his life depends on it. Gets back up just to eat another shot that puts him down again. Everything is moving so fast, it feels like someone wrote this madness on purpose. Justin is hunting him down like a man with nothing left to lose. That right there is absolutely terrifying. Because fighters only move like that when they think the universe owes them something. Gaethje starts rushing forward recklessly, almost running straight into uppercuts, like pain doesn't even register anymore. And then boom, the eye poke. It's obvious, it's nasty, it's right there for everyone to see. What makes my blood boil is the crowd starts booing the wrong fighter. That kind of confusion is exactly how these controversies blow up. I'm telling you, someone definitely gained something major from that exact moment. And they know exactly what they did.
I think that there's a difference between having a meritocracy in sports and trying to make justifications for making the fights that are going to be most profitable for the business. Does that make sense? Because, I think, when you have this star and all these people that love tuning in for Paddy Pimblett fights, I'm not trying to necessarily agree with Armand that the UFC wants Paddy to be the champion of the division. I just think they want Paddy to be interesting enough to continue making fights that are going to make them money. And I think there's a slight difference with that. And I think that, I think they took the threat of Gaethje retiring as a serious one if he wasn't going to fight for some kind of a belt in his next one.
Round 2 is pure chaos. Justin is swinging so violently, he's nearly toppling over completely out of control. Paddy's uppercut is snapping heads back like a machine. Yet Gaethje just walks through everything, swarming forward, eating every shot, like it's nothing. There's this instant where his expression completely changes after eating a clean right, and I swear, something shifted internally that we're not supposed to discuss right now. Low kicks are landing like hammers, takedowns become wild scrambles, and then a knee creates what looks like a flash drop. Justin pours it on like he can taste blood diving through kicks to pound Paddy's face. I'm watching this thinking we're seconds away from either a definitive finish or a complete controversy, and either outcome rewrites everything overnight. Paddy survives barely bloodied and completely drained, and then round 3 opens with him getting dropped again, only to spring right back up like some unstoppable monster. But Justin's output drops just enough to actually matter, and that small slowdown is everything. Because that's where doubt creeps in and starts poisoning important decisions. Jabs or flying knees or connecting, another low blow stops everything completely, and when they restart, Paddy somehow looks refreshed. While Justin looks visibly frustrated, and frustration in a fight this big is incredibly dangerous because that's when fighters stop thinking smart and start forcing things that just aren't there.
The big star, so is Paddy Pimblett. Are those the two best guys that could get the next shot against Topuria? Probably not. Armin is clearly, I think, the best fighter who isn't the champ in that division. But I think that obviously he has an issue with maybe people not caring as much about his fights as other people. So I think that's the issue. I don't believe it's because of the headbutt. You know, it was like he got injured and didn't fight in the last one. Then the next excuse was the headbutt. Yeah, I don't buy those as excuses. I think they're trying to make justifications for Paddy Pimblett or Gaethje, you know, because they are bigger names than Arman. They want to give one of those guys the shot. I think that's what that is. And you know, I think Paddy and Gaethje should be competitive. I don't think Arman versus either of those guys would be competitive. I think Arman would.
The championship rounds are absolutely insane. Justin is throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, the bathroom, and the whole building at Paddy. Paddy's face looks like a crime scene, but his counters are still crisp enough to punish every mistake Justin makes. His heart is completely off the charts. But here's the problem: toughness also perfectly masks damage. Someone is lying about how hurt they actually were in there. Round 5 arrives and the crowd has lost their minds. It's raw power against unbreakable will. Legacies smashing together in violent harmony, and then another knee drives straight into the cup and Justin crumbles just as time runs out. I'm staring at this, thinking this is gonna age like milk once the real story comes out, because it always does. The scorecards hit 48, 47, and 2 insane 49s, and suddenly, the interim belt is wrapped around Justin's waist. But I'm screaming inside because those numbers aren't just scoring rounds, they're cementing a narrative, and narratives like this rarely stay clean. They're calling it Fight of the Year already. Sure, it was chaos personified, but real classics don't usually come wrapped in this much controversy. This many awkward faces backstage, this many people avoiding cameras. If you think everyone agrees with that decision, you're living in fantasy land. I keep hearing whispers that something important got missed, something got swept under the rug, something that might surface once everyone calms down. Every time I rewatch it, I spot another detail that feels off, like someone had information they shouldn't have had. This isn't finished, not by a long shot, because divisions remember nights like this. Fighters remember fouls, and commissions remember paperwork. If even half these rumors are accurate, this belt is gonna feel temporary, real quick. So embrace that uncomfortable feeling, because while cameras shut down and crowds go home, questions are building, resentment is brewing, and the lightweight division feels like a bomb ready to detonate. When it explodes, you'll remember this exact second, and understand this fight never really ended.
Inside the octagon.
Been this title, so we have an interim title shot. But I think we still got a really, really fun, exciting fight. Justin Gaethje is as exciting of a fighter as you're ever going to find. And Paddy Pimblett is, I don't know that he gets enough credit for his kind of all gas, no brakes style. You know, I think at this point, I think Paddy has done a pretty good job of quieting a lot of the critics, myself included. I think after the Jared Gordon fight, I think people believed maybe we'd seen the ceiling for Paddy, and that's about as good as he was going to.
Extending his analysis.
Arman Tsarukyan, jumping into all this, has boldly declared his certainty that Justin Gaethje will definitely fight him, while he's convinced Paddy Pimblett would run from that challenge completely. After Arman Tsarukyan's sharp comments where he openly questioned the UFC's real intentions and Paddy Pimblett's actual preparation for legitimate competition, the whole conversation took a turn. He highlighted the frequently ignored business side of how title shots actually get made, rather than treating each fight as purely skill-based, decided only on talent and rankings. Focus switched to understanding how things like star power, massive fan bases, and pure money undoubtedly shape crucial decisions at the sport's highest level. This change opened the door for a much broader and more critical look at how this business really works behind closed doors.
Excited about that fight. I know that Paddy Pimblett's going to want to take it to the mat, but Justin Gaethje's a Division I All-American that if he doesn't want to get taken down, it's going to be really, really tough to take Justin down and to hold him there. So really,
After hearing analysis.
The talk quickly centered on what people are calling money-driven choices, not just by promoters, but by everyone involved in fighter careers. Focus then shifted to closely examine how star appeal and pure personality magnetism might actually beat raw fighting ability and proven skills when deciding a fighter's path. The discussion then moved to exploring whether a fighter's fame and brand recognition impact their title opportunities more significantly than their actual demonstrated fighting talent. This became especially relevant when comparing the undeniable skills of someone like Arman Tsarukyan against the massive drawing power of bigger names like Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. This stark comparison naturally led to a closer and overdue examination of competitive fairness in the brutal lightweight division.
Paddy. Yeah. Because that Justin, he's gonna fight with me, but Paddy, if Paddy wins, he's gonna try to avoid me and trying not to fight me because he's not man like Justin.
As things continued, Anthony Smith, known for his balanced takes, offered a more measured perspective, carefully moving focus away from heated arguments and divisive politics back to the actual fight itself. Instead of continuing to debate who deserved what based on merit or getting lost in matchmaking politics, he emphasized the pure excitement of the actual contest. He kept stressing its undeniable entertainment value, highlighting the fascinating contrasting styles and emphasizing how each fighter brings their own unique but incredibly powerful energy to the octagon. He wanted to remind everyone why we watched these fights originally.
Good fighter, but he's not unlike me at all. So the fact that I've got Ellis playing Justin Gaethje for me, and then I've got Luke, who's a better, faster, more powerful technical striker than him, I think it all goes into my favour.
You got Luke Riley above Justin. You're rating him above Justin Gaethje in the striking department already in his career, you reckon?
Yeah. Luke Riley's been fighting Thai in Thailand since he was 8 years old, lad. You know what I mean? When Justin Gaethje was wrestling, lad, Luke was fighting Thai and then doing amateur boxing, and Luke's striking is a class above, and people are going to see it over the next couple of years, lad. He's the striking version of me. His striking's phenomenal, lad, and I just can't wait for him to show everyone how good he is. And in a fight or two, he'll be fighting ranked opponents, lad, and he'll climb that featherweight ranking faster than I climb the lightweight ones. Promise you that.
Kenneth then expertly moved his breakdown from general praise of both fighters to a much more detailed and strategic evaluation of their potential clash. After thoroughly covering each fighter's individual growth in the sport and diving into their unique mental makeup, what drives them under pressure, he then examined in detail how their specific methods and fighting approaches might powerfully collide when they finally meet. This created a comprehensive review of the complex grappling versus striking dynamic that defines so many elite fights, and crucially how this particular matchup provides additional layers of intrigue for hardcore fans hungry for technical analysis.
Because it'll be funny, once I beat Gaethje, everyone will be like, oh, Gaethje's done, he's path his best, this and that. But then when I beat Ilya, what's the excuse going to be then? It'll be, oh, Ilya was never that good. That's why Paddy beat him.
Moving past the general predictions and forecasts from analysts and fellow fighters, the discussion then returned directly to Arman Tsarukyan's intensely personal perspective on everything. Instead of speaking theoretically about potential matchups or general career paths, Arman spoke from the gut, focusing directly on how this fight impacts his own future. He detailed his preferred outcome with absolute clarity, explaining exactly why he believes one potential opponent would face him directly, while the other, in his view, would actively avoid the tough fight entirely. It was an honest, unfiltered evaluation of where he stands.
Yeah, he was never a lightweight, all this and that. That's what it'll be, watch, you know what I mean? The goalposts get moved.
After the harsh criticisms and detailed predictions from Arman Tsarukyan and other analysts, attention then turned to Paddy Pimblett's expected response. Rather than addressing the skepticism about his readiness head-on with direct rebuttals, Paddy confidently outlined his complete preparation for battle. He discussed his dedicated training partners and made insightful comparisons that he believes work in his favor. Through these conversations, he was clearly showing his deep belief in his own skills, the power and commitment of his team, and most importantly, why he's certain the specific aspects of this fight perfectly match his unique approach and abilities.
Hand time. Very nice, Justin.
Following his extensive talk about his striking advantages and training details, Paddy then moved smoothly to mapping out his future fights and explaining his personal motivations. He described not only his preferred next opponents, the fighters he genuinely wants to face, but also exactly how he believes these future wins would send a clear message to his doubters. He laid out his plan for silencing critics and proving definitively that any previous doubts or overestimations of his opponent's abilities would crumble when faced with his relentless work and undeniable cage skills. It's a clear blueprint for his goal.
Favourite vlogger, king of the mat. I don't even know what the asked today. 5 weeks out from fighting Justin. I am very tired. Had a big day's training already. Probably not gonna not do it though, am I? Can't not do it. It's a nice calorie burner. It's a good workout and it's good fun. We have a king of the mat every year and we have a grading every year.
This was one of those moments that absolutely freezes you right. He got caught perfectly and dropped hard by that crushing right hook. It wasn't just a stumble or brief balance loss. It was the kind of impact that leaves you shaken, completely shifting the fight's momentum instantly. The power was undeniable, sending him crashing down in a way that made everyone watching gasp. You knew immediately that kind of shot carried serious fight-changing consequences.
Do not know if Justin, but it's going to be one of the two, make no mistake. Justin Gaethje is either going to be champion of the world or he's going to be retired. The next time we have this talk, the next time we get together and we're talking about a year in review or a year in preview, the great year to come, Justin Gaethje is either going to be champion of the world or he's going to be retired. And he's going to kick things off with an opportunity to be the champion of the world. Which he earned a very hard way, by the way. That division is so difficult. 155 pounds. That is so hard. So now he's going to go in there with Paddy. They're going to call that the interim championship. I don't get it. I'm going to call it interim championship too. But I don't get it. You got one champion.
Focus then shifted away from Paddy Pimblett's perspective in his upcoming fights. The conversation moved entirely to examining Justin Gaethje's powerful training camp. Experts and fellow fighters began carefully studying how Gaethje, a consistent elite contender, thoroughly prepares for these high-stakes elite battles. They explored his physical condition, analyzing his incredible striking power and breaking down his complex grappling techniques. They also examined how his specific camp strategies might deeply affect the rhythm and result of his upcoming fights, offering a much deeper understanding of his preparation, his unique methods, and the potential challenges he might encounter inside the unforgiving octagon.
Title of compassion. Like, there's not any amongst us that don't know what the word champion means. There's not any amongst us that believe you can have two champions at the same time. We know that that's impossible. But sometimes you show grace, right? There's something happening with your current champion and he's not able to make that walk. So we have an interim champion. And I like it. I'm for it. I'm one of the guys that likes the interim belt. I only share for you that in the case of Justin Gaethje, if we're at the same point at this time next year.
Speaking directly about Paddy Pimblett's undeniable preparation, he openly shared valuable insights into his training regimen leading up to the highly anticipated Justin Gaethje fight. Talking honestly from his training facility, Paddy discussed his carefully planned conditioning sessions, essentially how he pushes his body to absolute limits, then strategically recovers. This gave fans an exclusive, unfiltered look at his complete approach to managing fitness levels, systematically improving his various skill sets, and maintaining his fierce determination, just weeks before what's obviously going to be a truly important and career-defining battle. It really showed the organized chaos of his preparation.
Yeah, and now let's move to intangibles, because I think, so there's some obvious ones. Yeah. Justin Gaethje hasn't been all that active lately. You know, when you look back, one of the things that I like to do personally is watch the last 3 fights of each fighter, you know, because that's going to be the most recent body of work and then some of their training videos that are current. You know, when I was looking at it, it actually surprised me that Dustin Poirier fight, which would have been the third most recent, was in 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, so, you know, we're now in 2026. So Justin Gaethje has not been all that active. So we have inactivity from Justin Gaethje. We have momentum for Paddy. Paddy's riding high. Paddy doesn't care what the world says about his opponent's record. He doesn't care what the world says about getting Dana White privilege. He doesn't care about any of that.
No.
Paddy's riding high. Paddy feels like he's the best fighter in the world. He's giving respect to Gaethje, but not too much.
Moving seamlessly from deep training insights and detailed fighter viewpoints, the conversation then shifted dramatically to expert analysis about the extremely high stakes for Justin Gaethje's upcoming fight. Kyle Sonnen, providing his professional perspective, emphasized the intense and almost crushing demands of this specific matchup. He particularly highlighted the difficulty and unforgiving nature of the lightweight division, widely regarded as one of the most brutal divisions in combat sports, and stressed the critical significance of the interim belt at stake. He carefully explained exactly how essential this confrontation is for Gaethje's career advancement, painting a vivid picture of the make-or-break implications for his professional future.
Right. So that's another X factor. Now, those are bads on the Justin side. Let's get the bads on the Paddy side. We do look at the last three opponents of Paddy the Baddy, and then we look at the body of work of Justin Gaethje.
Right.
As you said, Justin Gaethje hadn't fought anybody outside of the top 5 in almost a damn decade.
Right. That's
so
ridiculous.
You know,
in the murderer's row of 155.
and he's fought the best people at 155, period. Many of them he's fought multiple times.
Right.
So Paddy the Baddy is going to have a disadvantage. This will be the biggest fight Paddy the Baddy has ever been in. This will not be the biggest fight Justin Gaethje has ever been in.
Correct.
He's been in undisputed title fights with one of the greatest of all time in Khabib. He's been in there with top Dustin Poirier multiple times, Max Holloway, you name it.
Won an interim belt and put it on the ground.
Exactly. This Justin Gaethje has been there, done that, gotten the T-shirt, and it's been a
After his insightful comments on the extremely high stakes for Justin Gaethje's next fight, Kyle Sonnen then expertly examined the deeper significance and crucial importance of the interim championship itself. He considered its basic role within the sport, critically analyzing the idea of interim status versus achieving true, undisputed champion recognition. He explained exactly why this clear distinction is not only vital for Gaethje's immediate career path, but also for the overall transparency and integrity of the entire division. This sharp discussion naturally led to much deeper conversations about legitimacy and the permanent legacy that comes with holding such a title.
Fight's coming up very, very soon. We know Paddy's fighting Justin Gaethje, and if he beats Gaethje, he becomes the interim champion. After that, Dan Hooker's off his radar, right? He will not get to fight Dan Hooker. The only person he's going to fight next is either Ilia Topuria, if Ilia comes back soon, which I hope he does, because he only just became the champion, or it's going to be Arman Tsarukyan, right? Now, Arman Tsarukyan, a lot of people felt that he should have got the title shot. As we know, there was a few circumstances pulling out of the fight. He headbutted Dan Hooker when he beat him recently. And Dana White just kind of like admitted that definitely played a factor into him not getting a title shot.
Did the headbutt play any factor in the decision to not?
Flowing smoothly from discussions of prestigious titles and lasting legacies, attention then shifted to analyze the fighters' current situations and their crucial mental conditions. Stephen Barnhill Jr. expertly examined the often hidden subtle elements that regularly influence an upcoming fight, strongly emphasizing just how important momentum periods of inactivity in a fighter's exact psychological state truly are for peak octagon performance. Specifically, he contrasted Justin Gaethje's significant time away from active competition with Paddy Pimblett's clearly growing confidence, which has been consistently boosted by his recent victories. This emphasized the very real, often ignored mental warfare that occurs before any punches are thrown.
If Paddy beats Justin, none of this matters because they ain't going to fight. But if he loses, I think we might see this fight happen pretty quickly because remember, 1 week after UFC 324, I'll be there. The week after, I'll be there as well in Sydney, Australia. UFC 325 is happening. Dan Hooker's going up against Benoit Saint-Denis. Tough stylistic matchup for both men. Benoit Saint-Denis is going to try and grapple him. He's going to try and take him down because on the feet, Dan Hooker probably has his way. But Dan Hooker's not an easy man to take down. Remember, the man has a victory over Mateusz Gamrot. And yes, okay, Charles Oliveira just went out there, dominated and finished Gamrot pretty easily, respectfully to Gamrot, right? But that's Charles Oliveira, right? The man with some of the best grappling and the most submissions in the history of the sport.
Following his careful breakdown of each fighter's current condition and analysis of how an activity might affect performance, Stephen then expanded his examination to create a direct side-by-side comparison of their experience levels and the quality of opposition they've faced throughout their careers. The discussion moved from subjective elements like confidence and timing to the undeniable facts of their professional records and proven accomplishments in the sport. This created a much deeper and more fascinating contrast between Paddy Pimblett's relatively recent opponents, often criticized as less challenging, and Justin Gaethje's incredibly extensive history against absolute elite top 5 lightweights, consistently proving himself at the highest level. Looking ahead, far beyond the immediate results of the Gaethje-Pimblett fight, focus then moved to the broader lightweight championship picture and complex future fight arrangements in the division. Michael Bisping, sharing his informed opinion, provided detailed analysis of how an interim belt victory would quickly and fundamentally reshape the entire weight class. He specifically emphasized how such a win would inevitably limit Paddy Pimblett's subsequent opponent options, effectively narrowing his future path. Additionally, Bisping expertly revisited the ongoing conversation about Arman Tsarukyan's controversial missed title opportunity and analyzed the various factors that played significant, if often underestimated, roles in that disputed decision. From his sharp analysis of the complex lightweight landscape, Michael Bisping then thoughtfully expanded the entire discussion, moving beyond simple championship results to explore the profound ripple effects these outcomes have on upcoming fight cards and event planning. He carefully detailed exactly how the result of a highly anticipated Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje fight might quickly and dramatically impact not only immediate fight pairings, but also future scheduling and potential fights planned for major events like UFC cards. This interconnected analysis perfectly linked individual performances and results directly to the division's overall direction and future storyline. When all these different viewpoints finally come together, it becomes crystal clear that this crucial moment is much bigger than just one fight. It's fundamentally about the entire direction the lightweight division takes next. Arman Tsarukyan perfectly represents merit and consistent performance, firmly believing that elite skill and unwavering consistency should be the only factors determining title shots. Pimblett conversely perfectly embodies pure ambition, widespread appeal, and unshakable confidence, all powered by massive fan support and significant commercial value. Justin Gaethje sits uniquely between these forces as the experienced veteran fighting not just an immediate opponent, but also the unstoppable passage of time, his own developing legacy, and the heavy pressure that comes with holding an interim title. This entire matchup perfectly highlights MMA's constant underlying tension between pure merit and undeniable marketability, and its final result will fundamentally reshape the division's power structure for years ahead. So tell me, do you really think the UFC should always prioritize pure merit over raw marketability, or is star power an inevitable essential part of championship opportunities in today's MMA? Ultimately, who do you honestly believe truly deserves the next undisputed title shot?